Today we're going to be talking about the PCA-30-M1D controller, which is used with our SDS pumps. We'll talk about some of the power sources that can be used with this controller and some of the troubleshooting techniques that we use to look at it. Before we get started troubleshooting, we want to know what our power source is, where the voltage is coming from, and how much it needs to be. Solar panels are all different. They differ in wattage and voltage. For example, this one has an 80 watt capacity on it. And if you look, your open circuit voltage is going to be labeled as VOC. And this one has a VOC, or an open circuit voltage, of 22 volts. Your panels will be different, most likely, but you're looking for your VOC and your wattage to start checking on your voltage on the controller. This is our PCA-30-M1D controller that we use with our SDS line of pumps. As you can see, the inside of the box, we do have a graphic with a wiring diagram that you can look at if you have problems wiring things up. On the left hand side of the box, we have our input for our power and for our pump. Left hand side, you have PV negative. On the right, you're going to have the PV positive. This is the incoming power, whether it be from batteries or solar panels. In the center, you're going to have your LD negative and LD positive, which is your load going down to your pump. These are also polarity sensitive and need to be carefully looked at before you wire everything up. Next to this, you're going to have your dip switches that serve for different functions inside the controller. Next to that, you're going to have your on-off toggle switch. Next to that, you're going to have your float switch inputs. On the right-hand side of the box, you're going to have your LEDs that will show incoming power, outgoing power, and different errors when the pump stops. Okay, we're ready to start checking our controller. First, I want to talk about multimeters. You need to verify that your multimeter is able to check DC voltage. If it's not capable of checking DC voltage, you will not be able to test your solar panels or your batteries. We prefer that you have a multimeter that is capable of checking DC amperage as well, like this clamp-on Klein 390L or the Fluke 301D. Okay, we're going to look at setting up our multimeter for checking our power on our controller. So first off, you're going to look for the voltage, and to check to see if your multimeter is capable of checking for DC voltage, you're going to look for the straight line with the small dashed line underneath it. This multimeter you can turn on by choosing that, and you can see that it says DC voltage. This one also has the capability of checking amperage, both AC and DC. And you can see this, the dashed line with the straight line above it. And so you need to make sure that your multimeter is capable of checking these before you test your controller. This is a different multimeter that we use. This one is a Klein CL390. This one you can see has two different amp ranges. Also is capable of checking DC and AC voltage. As you turn this one on, this one you will actually have to push the select button to change it from AC voltage to DC voltage. And that is something that you will have to make sure that you do before you check your controller. We're ready to start looking at our controller. The first thing that we need to verify is that our switches are in the correct position for the pump to function correctly. On the little row of dip switches in the center, the first three are important for making your pump function. So the first switch is going to be for a 12 volt system. Number 2 is going to be for a 24 volt system. Number 3 is going to be for a 30 volt system. You have to choose just one of those to have the pump function correctly. You cannot use all three. If you put all three up or two of them up, the pump will not run. So today we'll be using a 30 volt system. We have our number 3 dip switch in the up position. And then we're going to look at our toggle switch. This is an on-off switch. If it's in the down position, your pump is turned off. So when you turn the pump on, you should have both the red light for the power coming in and the green light for the power going out to your pump. Okay, first thing you need to check is the incoming voltage from your panels. We're expecting to see around 33.5 volts. So you're going to check from PV negative to PV positive. And we have 33.8. That means you're good. If you're showing anything different than what the data sticker says on your panels or your batteries, then you'll know you have a problem with your power source. Next thing we're going to check is if you have a float switch that has your pump turned off. You can see that we have a float switch plugged in here to the remote switch terminals. And what we're going to do is you're manually going to check your float switch to see if it runs your pump or turns it off. You can see with the orange light that the float switch has the pump turned off. As that float switch goes down, the pump will turn back on. And if that still doesn't allow your pump to run, what we'll do is we will have you disconnect the float switch wires and make sure that your remote switch logic switch is in the down position, and then try and start your pump once you've disconnected it. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to bypass the controller. If you can't get your pump to start, we want to figure out if you're having problems with the controller or with the pump. We do this by taking the LD negative loose, that would be the negative terminal going to the pump, and we'll put it over to PV negative. What that is going to do, that's going to send power straight to the pump. If your pump runs, you'll know there's something going on with the controller. If your pump does not turn on, then you'll know there's something either going on with the wire, the splice, or the pump itself. Thank you for joining us today in this troubleshooting video. If you continue having problems with your controller or your pump, please call Sun Pumps and we'll be more than happy to help you with your technical problems.